Hey folks, I'm attorney Roger P. Foley, and I wanted to take a moment at this very minute because I just got off the phone with a family who had recently reached out to me when their loved one had gone into the hospital. Their loved one they had fainted, and they had some blood in their stool or urine, and they went to the hospital to get checked out, and this person was in great spirits. They were talking with family, and the family lived out of state, and they had constant communication with the hospital, and there seemed to be something wrong, but not something terribly wrong. And then the hospital said that they wanted to do a procedure, and that procedure was some sort of where they stick a tube down your throat with a camera to kind of check things out. And just prior to that surgery, this person said to their loved one, I love you. And they had their own way of saying it to each other, but they, I love you, and the family member said, I love you, and this person said, just pray for me. I know it's relatively routine, but just pray for me, and I love you. And they went into surgery. I didn't even know this person, but I just got off the phone with the family whose pain echoed through the phone. Because after that person had the procedure, they weren't waking up, and the family member kept calling, and they said, oh, he's sleeping. And a couple of days went by, and yesterday they told the family that this person was in critical condition. And that's when the family called me, because they wondered about the possibility of medical malpractice, about what was happening when someone who, yes, they had some issues, but they were a relatively young person, in their mid-60s, who had no prior history of any medical complications, who was laughing and joking, who went to the hospital, walked in. It wasn't an ambulance, wasn't EMTs involved, walked in and was joking, was on the phone and just said, hey, I fainted a week or two ago, and I noticed a little, blood when I used the restroom. And apparently during our conversation, when I was speaking to this family, the person passed. And I told them that I would follow up with them tomorrow. Wanted to talk to some other attorneys about the case and some of the information. And she had called, the hospital had called the family to say, hey, we're going to do this other procedure, and but they didn't call them. They didn't call the family when he passed. They didn't call. The family was calling to check in to see, hey, what time are they going to do this other test or whatever, and how long it would take to get the test back. It was the family calling hours later, only to be told, like, well, should I wasn't sure if I should have called you, or if I should have called the nephew or the son, and they didn't call the family. They called the family to ask for a release for them to sign to share this person's body parts with others. Can you imagine the pain? They didn't call to say that the family member had passed. They called to ask if they could disseminate parts of his body, his organs. And And listen, I know that that's a beautiful thing to be able to help. But sometimes, we lose focus and we forget empathy. These are people who are grieving, and they had no idea that the situation was serious. He had just gone into a test. He was laughing and joking. He had his cell phone. They were FaceTiming. He's like, hey, just pray for me. I know it's relatively routine. And routine is now turned to death. And to hear the pain of a total stranger, I prayed with the family. I wish that there were words. There are no words. There are no words in any language that can give peace. Only God can give that peace and that grace. But that pain. I just got off the phone. I was in tears myself. I never met the man. I never met the family. But to see a fellow human being going through this pain, and I know we all get there, but so unexpected. So unexpected. And there's no coming back. And I just listened to this family, their tears, their pain, their cries. I know this is a different kind of video. Serious injury, death, they're never going to get to hear that I love you again. They're never going to get together on Thanksgiving or Christmas or any holiday or birthday or reunion. And I just listened to pure pain that is justified, pain that is questioning, pain that knows that there's nothing that can be done because their loved one has passed. It's difficult, folks. You understand. Thanks for listening.